Hello everyone, today we will discuss about pathophysiology of diarrhea. For many people, diarrhea represents an occasional inconvenience or annoyance. Yet at least 2 million people of the world, mostly children, die from the consequences of diarrhea each year. There are numerous causes of diarrhea, but in almost all cases, this disorder is a manifestation of one of the 4 basic mechanisms that we are going to discuss today. It is also common for more than one of the 4 mechanisms to be involved in the pathogenesis of a given case. The 4 mechanisms are osmotic diarrhea, secretory diarrhea, inflammatory and infectious diarrhea, diarrhea associated with deranged motility. Let's discuss all of them one by one. Osmotic diarrhea. Absorption of water in the intestine is dependent on adequate absorption of solutes. If excessive amounts of solutes are retained in the intestinal lumen, water will not be absorbed and diarrhea will result. Osmotic diarrhea typically results from one of the two situations, that is, ingestion of a poorly absorbed substrate and malabsorption. In case of ingestion of a poorly absorbed molecule, the offending molecule is usually a carbohydrate or divalent ion. Common examples include mannitol or sorbitol, Epsom salt, that is magnesium sulfate, and some antacids. Malabsorption results from inability to absorb certain carbohydrates, which is the most common deficit in this category of diarrhea, but it can result virtually any type of malabsorption. A common example of malabsorption afflicting many adults, humans and pets is lactose intolerance resulting from a deficiency in the brush border enzyme lactase. In such cases, a moderate quantity of lactase is consumed, usually as milk. But the intestinal epithelium is deficient in lactase, and lactose cannot be effectively hydrolyzed into glucose and galactose for absorption. The osmotically active lactose is retained in the intestinal lumen where it holds water. To add insult to injury, the unabsorbed lactose passes into the large intestine where it is fermented by colonic bacteria, resulting in production of excessive gas. A distinguished feature of osmotic diarrhea is that it stops after the patient is fasted or stops consuming the poorly absorbed solutes. The secretory diarrhea. Large number of water are normally secreted into the small intestine lumen, but a large majority of this water is efficiently absorbed before reaching the large intestine. Diarrhea occurs when secretion of water into the intestinal lumen exceeds absorption. The responsible organism Vibrio cholerae produces cholera toxin, which strongly activates adenyl cyclase, causing a prolonged increase in intracellular concentration of cyclic AMP within crypt enterocytes. This change results in prolonged opening of the chloride channels that are instrumental in secretion of water from the crypts, allowing uncontrolled secretion of water. Additionally, cholera toxin affects the enteric nervous system, resulting in an independent stimulus of secretion. Heat labile toxin by E. coli induces the same series of steps and massive secretory diarrhea that is often lethal unless the person is aggressively treated to maintain hydration. In addition to bacterial toxins, a large number of other agents can induce secretory diarrhea by turning on the intestinal secretory machinery, including some laxatives, hormones secreted by certain types of tumors, for example vasoactive intestinal peptide, a broad range of drugs, for example some types of asthma medications, antidepressants, cardiac drugs, certain metals, organic toxins, and plant products like arsenic, insecticides, mushrooms, toxins, and caffeine. Inflammatory and infectious diarrhea. The epithelium of the digestive tube is protected from insult by a number of mechanisms constituting the gastrointestinal barrier. But like many other barriers, it can also be breached. Disruption of the epithelium of the intestine due to microbial or viral pathogens is a very common cause of diarrhea in all species. Destruction of the epithelium results not only in exudation of serum and blood into the lumen, but often is associated with widespread destruction of absorptive epithelium. In such cases, absorption of water occurs very inefficiently and diarrhea results. The immune response to inflammatory conditions in the bowel contributes substantively to development of diarrhea. Activation of white blood cells leads them to secrete inflammatory mediators and cytokines, which can stimulate secretion in effect, imposing a secretory component on top of an inflammatory diarrhea. Reactive oxygen species from leukocytes can damage or kill intestinal epithelial cells, which are replaced with immature cells that typically are deficient in the brush border enzymes and transporters necessary for absorption of nutrients and water. In this way, components of an osmotic diarrhea are added to the problem. Now, the diarrhea associated with deranged motility. In order for nutrients and water to be efficiently absorbed, the intestinal contents must be adequately exposed to the mucosal epithelium and retained long enough to allow absorption. Disorder in motility then accelerate transit time, could decrease absorption, resulting in diarrhea even if the absorptive process per se was proceeding properly. Alteration in intestinal motility are observed in many types of diarrhea. What is not usually clear and very difficult to demonstrate is whether primary alteration in motility are actually the cause of diarrhea or simply an effect.